I'm just curious to see the number of people not on Instagram, Facebook, Snapchat, TikTok, and similar platforms. I recently deleted Facebook, Instagram, and Snapchat, but I have never really used TikTok, so that hasn't been an issue. However, I'm struggling to not feel so alone. That probably sounds silly, but I find it challenging. I live on a property with a beautiful creek running through and plenty of forest, and I have been spending all my time there with my dogs. I just want to know if anyone else has deleted their social media and what you do instead of scrolling. Story 1. I didn't delete my accounts, but I stopped using everything except Reddit and occasionally Facebook. I don't post anything on Facebook, but my local town page is useful for staying informed about news and events and for getting recommendations on tradespeople. The marketplace feature is also helpful for selling or getting rid of items I no longer need. Story 2. I haven't posted anything on Instagram since 2017. I haven't posted anything on Facebook since 2016. No one had messaged me on Snapchat except for the app itself since 2015 or 2016. I have TikTok, but that's just for casual viewing. There are a lot of cool cooking recipes there. I dislike using cooking recipe websites because I don't care about long life stories or numerous ads. As for deleting, I have never deleted my accounts, but they still exist mostly for meme sharing and some login purposes on random sites. I have never had Twitter or MySpace. Story 3. I deleted every social media account last year. The only social app one use is this one. You can see my registration date and realize I've been here for a while. My overall mental health has improved significantly. My family has my cell number if they want to contact me. I highly recommend complete deletion. It's truly amazing. Story 4. I am not involved in any of those platforms. My cat is on Instagram, though. Once my life improved, I noticed many people suddenly wanting to be friends. I grew tired of it and deleted everything around 2015. It actually had a positive impact on my life. I enjoy the anonymous social aspect of Reddit, but I do not want others contacting me. Story 5. I removed everything except Reddit during the pandemic as it became terribly toxic. It was initially odd. The only one I may add back soon is Strava. Story 6. I erased my social media accounts outside of Reddit in 2022. It was probably the best decision I ever made for my mental health and ability to focus. Story 7. I deactivated my Facebook account years ago, but had to reactivate it to use Messenger to communicate with family when my parents passed away. I am waiting for the estate to close so I can finally delete the account. That will be it besides the two you mentioned, Reddit and YouTube. Story 8. I only use Reddit daily. I have Facebook for the memories, but I do not actively browse for content there. Story 9. I deleted Facebook and Instagram. I never had Snapchat or TikTok. I am still here on Reddit and YouTube. Facebook made me dislike people, including some distant family members, old friends, and schoolmates. Story 10. I have a family Facebook account that I log into only when someone tells me to. Otherwise, I just use the Messenger app. Story 11. All I ever had was Facebook, Twitter, and Snapchat. They are all gone. It has been really nice. Story 12. I never deleted any of them because I know they are all fake and entertaining. It's a benefit of being on the internet since the 1990s. I recognize that it is all manipulated content and take none of it seriously. Story 13. I have been deleting Facebook for the past 2 to 3 years and finally got rid of it completely. The only reason I had it was for distant family and my local area group, which often had arguments about parking issues. I kept Instagram to watch entertaining content and send videos to my close friends, but I never post anything. I use TikTok just to stay in touch with one friend who lives on the other side of the country, and I use Reddit for news. I never bothered with Twitter or Snapchat. If it were up to me, I would eliminate all of it because I am particular about having a digital footprint. However, I keep these platforms to maintain contact with my friends. Story 14. I did this during college about 4 or 5 years ago and haven't thought about looking back. My mind is much more at ease now that I don't have to sit and worry about what everyone else is doing. Story 15. I don't delete those. I used Facebook to watch short movies, Twitter to complain to my internet provider. I don't bother logging into Instagram, but when I use it, I usually look for information about events around me. Story 16. All gone except Twitter, where I have set a time restriction to catch breaking news events and seldom reply to anything now, and Reddit. Facebook was deleted from my life over a decade ago. I never used any other Facebook products like Instagram or Messenger. TikTok never seemed like a good idea to me. Story 17. I dropped Facebook a while ago. I used Twitter a few times and then deleted it. I used TikTok and Snapchat for 5 minutes. I mostly used Reddit along with Instagram. I don't follow too many people on Instagram. Story 18. I have a Facebook account that I check once or twice a week, mostly to stay updated on local events. I have an Instagram account that I rarely check. I do not use Snapchat or TikTok. Story 19. I deactivated Facebook a couple of years ago. I could count the number of times I actually posted on Instagram on one hand, but I keep it to follow accounts related to my interests. I still have a Twitter account, but it just collects dust. I have never had TikTok or Snapchat. Story 20. Is YouTube considered social media? Do you need an account for the social features? I have never had one or used it in that way. Story 21. I never had any social media accounts except Reddit, and I was in university when Facebook was first introduced. It felt like too much work, and I already had enough distractions in my social life at the time. Additionally, I'm not really someone who enjoys sharing pictures. Story 22. I'm trying to reduce my time on Reddit, especially with the election approaching. Story 23. I am curious to see the number of people not on Instagram, Facebook, Snapchat, TikTok, and similar platforms. I do not use any of those, but I keep my accounts except for TikTok, as I never had an account. I use Twitter to follow news about the sports league I enjoy, as it is difficult to find that information elsewhere. I do not interact with anyone there. I occasionally use Discord. Story 24. I primarily use YouTube and recently started on Reddit in the last year or two. I haven't had Facebook since 2013 and have never had Instagram, Twitter, TikTok, or any of the other platforms. Story 25. I have mostly eliminated them. I haven't been on Facebook since early 2020, and I have no regrets. Story 26. I don't use Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, or TikTok. I only have Snapchat to communicate with friends and Reddit. Story 27. I have deactivated Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, and Snapchat. I found that these platforms were causing me anxiety and depression, so it's easier not to engage with them. My mental health is my priority right now. I mostly enjoy interactions on Reddit. However, I still feel terribly lonely, stressed, and depressed. Story 28. I deleted TikTok over a year ago and just deactivated my other social media accounts. Halo, the Master Chief Collection, is now taking up all my time. Story 29. I had it all around 2015 and got rid of everything except Reddit, YouTube, and LinkedIn for work, but it's turning more into Facebook. Story 30. After 2015, I realized there was no need for social media. I wasted so much time on it and haven't missed it since. I kept Twitter for a while, but soon grew to dislike the constant negativity. I did enjoy the articles that people occasionally shared, but overall it wasn't satisfying enough. Story 31. It can be refreshing to disconnect. I even went without YouTube before I discovered Reddit. I played a lot of games. Story 32. I haven't deleted any of them, but I am virtually inactive on everything except Reddit, YouTube, and TikTok. I don't post on TikTok. I just make the occasional comment and scroll through my For You page. Story 33. The last thing I signed up for was Facebook when it first started, mostly because friends told me I had to be there. I never bothered with anything that came out after that and deleted Facebook when the pandemic began. I have no regrets and do not feel like I am missing out on anything. Story 34. I deleted all but Facebook from about 2016 to 2019. I only kept Facebook because my kids' teachers, the water and electric utilities, and my neighborhood homeowners association used it as their primary form of communication. I unfollowed everyone on Facebook, didn't unfriend them though. For 3 years, the only things I saw in my newsfeed were my kids' class groups, utility messages about outages, and my neighborhood homeowners association announcements. I also turned my phone to black and white, except when I was using GPS. You'd be surprised how boring it gets looking at your phone when it's in black and white. The real world in full color is much more interesting than a black and white smartphone. 3 years of that completely killed my impulse to waste time on social media and my smartphone when I got bored. I did start back on Facebook and Instagram eventually, but it's not the same. I mostly check when on my laptop, and it gets boring after only about 10 minutes. To this day, I'll sometimes completely forget my phone when I leave the house and end up being without it most of the day. 90% of the time I just use it for calls, texts, and GPS, 5% for pictures. Still usually in black and white too. I enjoy the real world much more than my smartphone. It's been very freeing. Story 35. I have Facebook but don't use it. The only other social media I use is Reddit and YouTube. I use Reddit when I'm bored and YouTube instead of TV. When my TV breaks, I'm not sure if I will replace it. Story 36. I am 42 years old and have not been on Facebook for many years. I have never used Instagram, Twitter, or TikTok. However, my smartphone still demands my attention like everyone else's. Story 37. I left Instagram this year, and my use of Facebook has dwindled over the last 2 years to the point where I only use it for one group and Messenger. I would leave it completely if it weren't for a few group chats for work that I need. I never signed up for TikTok and probably will never bother, as I receive videos and memes from friends via WhatsApp. I have become more active on Reddit since, and it is now my most used app on my phone after WhatsApp. Story 38. I removed Facebook in 2014 and TikTok a year ago. I have never used any other social media platforms. I only joined Reddit when I discovered a group called Wall Street Bets in late 2020. Story 39. I deleted my Facebook account last year, saved the videos and images, and have not looked back since. No friends there communicated with me. The ones I do send content to and receive enjoyable responses from, I already have on Discord or WhatsApp. I never started posting on Twitter or Instagram, so there was nothing to delete, which was nice. I don't interact with users on YouTube, but I have about 4,500 clips of music, humor, or interesting content. If I find something rare or irreplaceable, I use a video downloader to save the video or audio to my hard drive. Story 40. Everything apart from LinkedIn, which I only use when job hunting, and Reddit. I am much happier. Catch-ups with friends are more meaningful. I see life for what it is and not the distorted reality that social media portrays. Story 41. I was grieving the loss of my mom, sinking deeper into depression. I felt extremely lonely and isolated. I believe it has helped over the last few months. Story 42. I only have Facebook and Reddit. I have never had more than these two, and since last year, I only log into Facebook to write messages on Messenger. I don't scroll down the news feed or anything else. Story 43. I only have Facebook, LinkedIn, and Reddit. Even then, LinkedIn is more of a tool than anything else. I have never really used it for social interactions. On Facebook, I use it to casually keep in touch with local businesses, some old friends, and coworkers. I would love to get rid of Facebook, but I actually find it useful. Story 44. I deleted my Facebook account. I was never on Instagram. I wouldn't touch TikTok with my worst enemy's devices. I have a Twitter account, but I hardly ever go on there and never post anything. I like how anonymous Reddit is. Sure, someone can go through your posts and come up with a pretty good idea of who you are, but if you are careful about what information you share, there is no link between a username and personal details. I also like how you can curate your feed by joining and leaving subreddits. Story 45. I had a MySpace account back in the day, but that hasn't been relevant recently. I stopped using it probably around 2004 or 2005. I deleted my Facebook account in late 2018 or early 2019 after I realized I didn't care that much about most of my friends. Was it kind of nice to see what acquaintances from high school and college were up to? Sure. However, the loss of respect for many people due to their strange beliefs and the overall proliferation of extremist political views annoying multi-level marketing advertisements, and the realization that there was a good reason I hadn't kept up with most of these people made me decide to leave. I had an Instagram account for about a month, hoping it would be like early Facebook where my friends would share fun pictures. I quickly realized that wasn't the case, so I deleted that. I have a YouTube account, but I don't think I've ever commented or uploaded a video. I tried Snapchat for about 2 days before dropping it. I watched some TikToks but have never created an account. Eliminating all my social media, except for Reddit, has made me realize how grumpy and antisocial I can be. Sure, it would be nice to keep up with some people in real life, but ultimately I decided it wasn't worth all the negativity. Story 46. I never interacted with the people who followed me. Those apps don't seem social anymore, and I don't miss them. Story 47. I have reduced my social media use. I am only on Reddit, LinkedIn, Instagram, and Snapchat. I might drop Snapchat and keep the other 3 for personal use. I have never had Twitter or Tumblr. Story 48. I never erased them, but I do not visit anything besides Reddit, YouTube, and Tumblr. I post very rarely. I mostly just look. Story 49. I deleted everything by 2021. I have no regrets about deleting Instagram, but I wish I had access to Facebook Marketplace and interest groups. Unfortunately, Meta has you cornered if you want to find housing, affordable furniture, or make friends in a new city. Story 50. I have no social media except Reddit, Pinterest, and YouTube. My life has been quiet and boring, but I'm much less stressed and I'm using my time more effectively. Story 51. I never had many friends to begin with, but I unfriended everyone except my family on Facebook back in 2014. I deleted my Instagram. The only social media I have is Reddit, technically. Story 52. I use Facebook to message some friends and family. Is it full of spam? Yes. However, it is still more efficient than tracking phone numbers and checking emails. Story 53. I only had a Facebook account for certain gaming rewards for games I no longer play. I deleted it years ago and never looked back. The only other website I used was Reddit and Imgur, which ultimately suffered when it went public, similar to Tumblr. Story 54. I have Facebook but rarely use it anymore. It's the only way I can keep up with extended family. I have never been on Instagram or Snapchat, but I never use them. TikTok is not enjoyable. Just be comfortable with your day and who you are. Story 55. I stopped using Facebook for years. I only use it now to stay in touch with family since my stepfather passed. I mainly use Reddit, YouTube, and TikTok. Story 56. This is the only way I engage socially. I haven't been here a year yet. There's too much drama and political negativity on social media, so I avoid it. I'm just here to appreciate people's cool cars. Story 57. I still have Facebook, but only for finding parts for my project car, a 1974 Charger. I haven't messaged anyone I wasn't buying parts from or selling parts to in almost 10 years. If I don't have your phone number, we aren't friends. No Twitter, Instagram, or anything else, just Reddit and YouTube. Story 58. I believe that if someone wants to know what I'm up to or how I'm doing, they will text or call me. I maintain a Facebook profile with just my wife as a friend so I can use the marketplace. I have never had any other social media accounts. I primarily use this platform or YouTube when I'm online. Otherwise, I'm working, spending time with my wife and kids, enjoying bourbon, and working on motorcycles. There's no time for anything else. Story 59. My cat has an Instagram account, and that's it. I deleted Facebook and everything else years ago. I am not interested in TikTok or any other platforms. You are not missing out on anything. Story 60. I have a Reddit account, a Twitter account that I haven't used in years and isn't associated with my name, and I deleted my Facebook account 6 months after it became accessible to the public. Sure, I snoop sometimes, but I can deal with not seeing everything. To be honest, I think I'm better off. Story 61. I have Facebook to keep in touch with some old friends. I check in about every 2 weeks but do not post. I have LinkedIn and that is all. Story 62. I still have social media to keep up to date with people in my life, but I don't post on them much. only a few times a year. I find Reddit is my favorite. The people here are truly the best. Story 63. Not deleted, but the applications are no longer on my phone. I have to be at the computer to access them. I'm not very active. I mainly use it to keep up with people. Story 64. I am on Facebook, but I rarely post. I have 9 friends, all of whom are family members in the UK and Ireland, except for my sister. They rarely post either, so it is not much of a social media platform for me. I use Facebook for the marketplace and to message companies and organizations. I am not on Instagram, TikTok, or Snapchat. I use Nextdoor, which is a neighborhood social media site. I have recently started using Reddit. I use a laptop, so scrolling is different. I do not use my smartphone as a phone. I use it as an ebook reader and for some useful or necessary applications. As a substitute for endless scrolling, it is important to find hobbies or engage in volunteering. Story 65. I deleted everything except for LinkedIn, and I finally got a Reddit account. I can't say that I miss social media. I speak to friends and family on the phone or through texting. Story 66. All I do is share updates for my extended family to see what I'm doing. I never search for information or read the news feed. It's just Facebook and Instagram where they connect with one another. So I'll do a quick post with pictures and log out. I have a lot of family I rarely see, and they enjoy keeping up with my activities, so this was a good trade-off. After 2016, it became so toxic that I didn't use it for years. There was too much negativity and hate. Now it's just cats, books, nature pictures, and memes. I can handle that. Story 67. In 2019, I deleted all social media except for Reddit, YouTube, and Snapchat. I only keep Snapchat because I have family overseas, and it's how we communicate. At first, it was rough, but it is honestly really freeing once you get past the routine of using it all the time. You can do this. Story 68. I have friends and family I only speak to through social media, so I keep those accounts activated for that reason alone. Story 69. Only Reddit and YouTube. I do have a private Facebook account with no friends on it to buy things from the marketplace. Story 70. I only have this platform and for work, LinkedIn. I got rid of Twitter and Facebook 3 years ago, as well as everything associated with Meta, including Instagram and WhatsApp. I never had TikTok or Snapchat. It has reduced my stress. The only issue is that someone from California is using my name and a picture of me on Facebook and possibly elsewhere. I considered returning to protect my likeness, but I can't go back. Story 71. I deleted my Facebook account in 2015 and my Instagram account in 2023, and I am not looking back. I spent too much time scrolling endlessly and ended up feeling unproductive and dissatisfied with myself. I decided to take action immediately. I wish I had sent messages to some of my closest friends or people I met during my travels and had their email addresses. I have YouTube, WhatsApp, and Reddit, and that is more than enough. Story 72. I deleted my Facebook. Later, I got Reddit. I don't have any other social media, and I usually look at it while I am in the bathroom. Story 73. Reddit mostly. Some lurking on LinkedIn for professional updates and trends. Twitter and TikTok are only browsed when Reddit posts point to them. Rarely Facebook. Story 74. I'm not and never have been on anything except Reddit, which helps me a lot and is generally quite useful. I only have 2 friends and I use text messaging to chat with them. Story 75. YouTube is not social media. I use it to listen to music and watch documentaries, not to engage in conversations with unkind individuals on the internet. Story 76. All but Instagram and Reddit are on the way, though. The amount of inappropriate content is ridiculous. Story 77. I did this and have kind of landed here mainly on Instagram since people like to add you there. Story 78. I deleted everything. I keep YouTube and Reddit because of the online communities I am involved with. When you flip cars and DJ, you need to use some social media. So I have completely private accounts for those purposes. Otherwise, I am an in-real-life person. Story 79. You nailed it. Only Reddit and YouTube are left. I used to have Facebook and Instagram, but they have been unused since around 2019. Story 80. My small town uses Facebook groups and marketplace for selling, and I keep it for that reason only. I don't post anything or pay attention to anything else. I'm still on YouTube and Reddit for several hours a day, though. Story 81. I only have YouTube and Reddit. No other applications on my phone. My mental health is at its peak. Forget about social media. Story 82. I have never really used social media besides Reddit and YouTube. I also have Snapchat, but I do not consider it as social media. I primarily use it to text about 5 people. Story 83. I just deactivated my accounts. I can't delete them since Facebook and Instagram are important modes of communication with my family and friends. I'm only active on Reddit, Twitter, and Tumblr for about a week. I don't use TikTok, but I have YouTube, which is great. Story 84. Yes, that's me. I use Reddit and YouTube, but no other social media. Facebook has declined significantly over the years. It was useful when I was at university, even though my university only gained access during the end of my final year in 2005 to 2006. After that, it had some appeal, but eventually, I became fed up with people posting trivial updates about their lives and the constant sharing of irrelevant articles. I haven't been on it for several years now, and I don't know its current state. Instagram is just harmful. People post heavily curated photos of themselves, and larger influencers do the same but with advertisements for their latest collaborations. They don't share their hardships or show how difficult life can be sometimes, which creates the impression that you're the only one struggling while others are constantly living the high life. It can be detrimental to your mental health. I never used Snapchat or TikTok, and I'm grateful for that decision years ago. Reddit and YouTube can become toxic if we're not careful, so it's essential to curate your subscriptions from time to time. I also have a YouTube extension that blocks recommendations, and I've disabled the tracking of my video history. I'm sure their servers still track my viewing habits, but by disabling the option they provide, I avoid being inundated with recommendations for other videos to watch, which helps me avoid rabbit holes. Additionally, just this weekend, I removed myself from several subreddits to clean up what I can read. Story 85. I only use YouTube when directed to specific videos. I don't allow my children to follow streamers or browse the algorithm. I've been off Facebook since 2014. I avoided Instagram and immediately understood to stay away from TikTok. Anything that connects me to Facebook or worse gets blocked before the page even loads. Generally speaking, my principle is, the less deliberative and more gamified the medium is, the more it should be avoided. Story 86. I only have Reddit. I have a Google account, but commenting on YouTube feels unpleasant. Story 87. Do you have any idea why I cannot delete my YouTube accounts? It just says the service is not available after selecting the delete account option. Story 88. I did it about a week ago. I kept Snapchat because I use it to stay in touch with friends. It is helping me spend less time scrolling through Reels and more time playing old-school RuneScape. Story 89. Although I haven't deleted Facebook, I haven't logged into Facebook for over 3 years. I was never active on Instagram, though I still have the account. I never go on Snapchat or TikTok. I occasionally comment on or answer questions on Quora, but Quora has deteriorated over the past few years, providing many poorly and dubiously sourced answers. Story 90. I never had anything other than Reddit and YouTube to begin with. I did technically have Snapchat for about 5 months, but only because I had a group project for university and my group members couldn't really use iMessage since they all had Android devices. I made my profile private as soon as I created it and deleted it the moment the project was done. I also briefly had a Discord account, but I only used it to coordinate pixel placement on our /place in 2022. I kept it for a month or two after our /place ended, but I ended up deleting it when I found that I was never really using it. Story 91. I wanted to be forgotten. I was never really into it in the first place. My ex-wife created my Facebook account. Story 92. I stopped using Facebook around the time that disinformation and mommy bloggers started becoming prominent. Many people believed that information and would argue and make threats about it. Story 93. I deleted Twitter in 2020, Instagram in 2021, and never had Snapchat or TikTok. I thought I had deleted Facebook, but it is still there for some reason. I will have to try to delete it again. Honestly, it is so much better for your mental health to remove those distractions. Story 94. I did this, but I ended up just scrolling through Reddit and YouTube. I also check Facebook occasionally to find people from the past who may come up in conversation. That's about the only thing it's useful for, and possibly seeing old photos. Story 95. I recently deleted both Facebook and Instagram from my phone. Still, every couple of days, I open those apps on my computer for communication with friends since I live abroad. My screen time went from 6 hours down to 1.5 hours, mostly on Reddit. This is beautiful. Story 96. I have never joined Twitter or Instagram, and I am glad for it. I only use Facebook as a messaging service. I don't post about my life. I am still very miserable, but I am sure social media would make it worse. Story 97. Not deleted, but I have naturally stopped using them as they became unhelpful. My mom occasionally tells me I should check some family news there, so I haven't deleted it for that reason. Story 98. Not exactly deleted, but I have mostly abandoned my Instagram and Twitter accounts, leaving me only with Reddit and YouTube. Story 99. I still have Instagram. It's mainly for creative inspiration and limited social interaction. Facebook is still active, primarily for marketplace use, but I rarely use it. Messenger is only for chatting and group conversations. Essentially, I use direct communication methods for inspiration. Reddit serves as my escape from reality at times, as I can easily disengage from it. I go on Reddit without the intention of engaging with others, just to browse. Story 100. You have to interact with people. That is hardwired into you. If you are under 30, you belong to a generation that is not accustomed to phone calls or spending time outdoors. You probably get most of your human interaction through a screen. Going out and obtaining that human interaction is essential. Have you tried calling a friend for a conversation? It usually boosts your mood. Story 101. I never had them to begin with. Besides Reddit and YouTube, the last time I had a social media presence was on MySpace in high school. Story 102. I have a Reddit and a Facebook account, but my Facebook profile has minimal details. It contains no pictures or unnecessary information, just what is needed to create the account. This makes signing into other services quicker. Story 103. The only reason I have Facebook is for my family chat, and I promised my mom I would stay. Other than that, I do not have any social media unless you count Reddit, which I do not think any of my family is on. Story 104. I created an account on a social media platform to see funny memes, but I deleted it 3 or 4 times over the course of a year. It's too saturated with inappropriate content. The same goes for another popular platform and a messaging service. I use a community platform because I can gain valuable insights there. Currently, I am only on this platform. Story 105. I erased everything except for those 2. I deleted Snap and rarely check any of the others. Unfortunately, my attention deficit hyperactivity disorder brain has quickly replaced those sources of quick dopamine with Reddit. Story 106. It is definitely more peaceful. I only use YouTube for news and updates about the world and 2 or 3 other platforms, but I try not to use them much. Story 107. I rarely use Snapchat or Instagram anymore and didn't want to completely delete everything. I use Facebook for the marketplace and to remind myself why I don't communicate with those people. Story 108. I mostly deleted Facebook about 10 years ago. I keep it active mainly for marketplace and to stay in touch with some distant friends when I have important news to share. I have never had Instagram, TikTok, or any of the other platforms. Story 109. I stopped using Facebook in 2017. I never used Instagram, Snapchat, or any of those platforms, so all I really have is Reddit and YouTube. I still have my Facebook account because I use it to get updates from my fraternity's alumni association, but that is the only reason I keep it. I have deleted almost all my previous activity over the last few years. Life is so much better without that nonsense. Story 110. I have Snapchat because I am single and use dating apps. Sometimes girls want to go to social media before texting. Other than that, it's just Reddit. Story 111. I deactivated my Instagram and Facebook accounts a couple of years ago. I still use Messenger to stay in contact with family and friends, and I use WhatsApp for chatting with family, friends, and work. Other than that, I only scroll through Reddit. Story 112. I have never used Instagram, TikTok, or Snapchat. I have never installed Facebook on a phone and closed my account 6 years ago. I opened another empty Facebook account to follow some events, though. Story 113. I did it about 5 years ago and don't regret it except for the isolation. However, I was already getting used to that. Story 114. I deleted Facebook years ago and removed TikTok after about a month. I still have Snapchat, but I only use it for selfies and photo storage. I never actually talk to anyone on it anymore. I continue to use Instagram, Tumblr, and Threads, and occasionally use Blue Sky and Mastodon, though I sometimes forget they exist. Story 115. I keep a Facebook account mainly for my family's benefit to share baby pictures easily. Beyond that, I really couldn't care less about social media, and I do not consider Reddit to be a part of social media. Story 116. I deleted my Facebook and Instagram accounts a while back and removed Snapchat long ago. I still have Reddit and TikTok, but can't seem to let those two go. Story 117. I only use Reddit and YouTube. I use YouTube nearly daily and WhatsApp about once a week, unless it's for coordinating plans. I use Reddit every couple of weeks on average. Story 118. I haven't deleted anything, but I can't remember the last time I opened Snapchat. It feels like over 10 years ago. I'm not sure it's even on my phone anymore. Facebook only sees Messenger use, as that's the most common non-text messaging way of communicating in my country. I might as well deactivate my profile since you can use Messenger by itself now. I only open Instagram when one person posts something new. That person is my girlfriend, and she shares a story about once a month, if that. I never use Twitter. I categorize TikTok with funny cat videos and not as social media, so I keep that. Even when I was active, I was never someone who posted much or scrolled often. I was never really into social media at all. You ask what I do instead of scrolling, but I feel like, what is there even to do there? How many people do you actually know and care about for social media to be engaging for more than 5 minutes a day? For all the extra content, there are countless other entertainment platforms, whether digital or in real life. Story 119. I haven't deleted my accounts yet, but I mainly use Reddit. I don't post or comment on other networks. I use YouTube only for watching educational videos related to work or hobbies. Story 120. As you mentioned, I have deleted all my social media except Reddit, YouTube, and WhatsApp, as I need the last one for family, friends, and work. I do not feel alone because I meet most of my friends and family almost every day. For those I usually do not see, I have never called or looked for them on any social media before deleting everything. Story 121. I haven't deleted anything, but I barely use them. Facebook is for sharing with older family members. I have an Instagram account, but I can go weeks without looking at it. I was never interested in Twitter or Snapchat, and although I have accounts for both, it's been years since I signed in. TikTok arrived too late for me. I will never sign up as my initial impressions were negative, and I'm not going out of my way to try and change that. I'm a heavy Reddit and YouTube user, but not really in a social way. Story 122. I got rid of Twitter last year. I still miss it for the instant updates on significant events happening in the world right now. However, during my last week there, I encountered distressing content every day. It included hate speech and censored pornography, graphic images of war victims, animal abuse, and racist comments. It had to go. Now I use Reddit for browsing and TikTok for niche content. Story 123. I only had Facebook, but I deleted the app and switched to Reddit because it suits me better. It doesn't negatively affect my mental health. I don't miss Facebook at all, and I have never used any other social media. Story 124. I haven't deleted my Reddit account. I don't consider YouTube as social media, mainly because I only watch occasional videos. I used to have a LinkedIn profile, but I deleted it when I retired. Story 125. I only ever had Facebook, which I deleted in 2009 when I met my girlfriend, now wife of 13 years. There's a strange feeling I enjoy about being out of the loop on many things. I feel I have better mental health than some people I know who live and breathe social media. I also operate a small farm on some acreage, and I spend a lot of my time working on that and with my family. I don't miss social media at all. Story 126. I had Facebook for a few days and realized it was all about posing. It was a nightmare to get rid of at first. Finally, I managed to delete it about 5 years ago when they made the process much easier. Story 127. I got off Instagram in 2017 and left Facebook for good in 2020. I have never had Twitter or TikTok. This decision has made a noticeable difference in my life, as I was allowing social media to control much of my free time. Story 128. I deleted Facebook around 2021, but went inactive a few times before finally leaving. I was off Instagram for a while, but returned to keep in touch with army buddies. I don't have Twitter and use TikTok sparingly. Reddit and YouTube are my main platforms, and I'm glad I don't engage with the toxic environment of Twitter and Facebook. Story 129. I have never had social media other than Reddit and YouTube. I dislike personal information on the internet and find it strange. Story 130. Reddit is my social platform. I stopped using Facebook before 2010, and I have never even been on Instagram. Story 131. I deleted my Instagram, and I finally felt free, kind of like how Neo woke up from those tubes in the Matrix. Story 132. Haven't used any of those in years. I deleted them early this year because I am applying for a public job, and there is a social investigation exam that is 10% focused on your criminal record and 90% about an individual reviewing your social media to find controversial statements you made 15 years ago. Story 133. I haven't had Facebook since 2017. I never really used Instagram much, and I don't use it now. I didn't use Twitter much either, and I don't have Snapchat. After a while, you start wondering what everyone finds so addictive about these sites. They just made me feel bad or anxious looking at everyone's pictures and posts. Plus, it was a lot of information that really didn't matter to me. I just text with my friends, and it works great for me. Story 134. The only reason I still have Snapchat and Instagram accounts is that my girlfriend uses them for work and wants to send me cool date ideas. I'm almost never on any social app by my own choice. Story 135. I deleted the applications. I access my Facebook and Instagram through the browser periodically. I am happier without constant social media. Story 136. I'm never getting rid of TikTok, Reddit, and YouTube. The amount of do-it-yourself, super cheap TikTok shop items, and incredibly funny vacation photo dumps is amazing. Just yesterday, I watched a TikTok clip of the Queen's Guard's horse sneezing and farting at the same time, and even the stoic guard chuckled. I was crying with laughter. Story 137. I dropped Facebook and Instagram some time ago. I wasn't spending any meaningful amount of time on either platform, and whenever I did find an occasion to log in, I didn't see anything that made me feel like I was missing out. Between that and not wanting to give Meta any more value from my presence, I downloaded the zip of my entire Facebook history and deleted the account. Aside from Reddit, I still keep a Twitter account, but I never use it to engage with anyone. It's really more of a news aggregator than anything else. I do admit to a minor thrill whenever someone asks me if I saw certain discussions on Facebook and I get to tell them I don't have an account there. However, it is starting to get annoying that several people have started sending me links to content on Instagram, which is not mobile web friendly. Often, I have to tell people I don't have a way to watch whatever they sent me until I get home. Story 138. I deleted TikTok and might delete Instagram. I used to read 3 to 4 books a month. I miss that. I feel much less informed than I used to be. Story 139. I have never had TikTok. I have been off Instagram since 2017, and I deleted Facebook in 2020. All I use now is Reddit and YouTube, although I hardly use Twitter these days. Story 140. No Facebook, no Instagram, no Snapchat, and no TikTok. I even went as far as deleting Reddit off my phone and only use it at work or on my laptop. I have been off the others for years now, and it was one of the best decisions I have ever made. I took up Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, hang out with the kids, and hit the gym. I do spend a lot of time on YouTube, though, so that may be next to go, but it can be a good resource. Story 141. I am a cold turkey, all or nothing type of person. Some of my social media friends probably think I am dead. You miss out on certain things, such as feeling isolated from what is going on, but the mental health benefits alone are worth it to me. Story 142. I deleted almost everything except Reddit. I don't comment on YouTube videos. Facebook is gone. I no longer use LinkedIn or any other platforms. I'm very nearly a complete ghost. Story 143. I dropped Snapchat and TikTok. I use Instagram for Reels, Reddit for forums and memes, and Facebook to keep in touch with the community. Story 144. I have wanted to delete YouTube for a long time because it is my biggest addiction, but it is connected to my Android phone. I can only disable it. I wish they could at least make the Shorts feature disableable. Story 145. I didn't delete my account, but I stopped using my yearbook. I also quit using Snapchat and Instagram, and I am trying to reduce my use of Facebook. Story 146. I deleted Instagram and Twitter at the end of last summer. I tried to get off Facebook, but too many resources use it to communicate. I don't have any other social media accounts and don't plan on bringing them back. Story 147. I'm only on Instagram. I usually post when I travel, and it's how I keep track of where I've been and when. Story 148. I have always maintained a low social footprint, but I cannot be offline due to my work in digital marketing. LinkedIn is essential for my professional life, so I minimize my personal use. If it weren't for work, I would be offline. Story 149. I have a minimal presence on Facebook and Instagram. If you checked my pages, you might wonder if they are spam. Besides those, I use Reddit and YouTube, which don't really count. I'm uncertain if LinkedIn counts, but I have a minor presence there as well. I found that without these social networks like Instagram, Twitter, and Snapchat, I experience less anxiety about unimportant matters. I've tried them all, and they often become a waste of time once the initial interest fades. It's just a collection of individuals behind keyboards sharing exaggerated stories. When hidden behind a screen, people can say anything, and others may believe them. Ultimately, the real world is the only social network that truly matters. Story 150. Reddit is social media, right? It is the only one I use. I had Facebook when it was new, but I never understood the point of Snapchat or Instagram. Then again, I don't want to talk to people who know me in real life. Story 151. I've stopped using Facebook and Instagram. I only use Twitter for news and Reddit for comments on Rachel. I've deleted Kik since it's not useful. I use Snapchat occasionally. I'm starting to explore Reddit. It seems interesting, but posting can be challenging due to the many rules. I primarily log into adult-oriented apps now. It's funny how much online platforms and apps have changed. I'm usually looking for specific things like feedback on my photos and videos, so I focus on apps that can meet those needs. Story 152. That's me. All my social media profiles have turned into right-wing propaganda. It's amazing how many people I know who embrace the narrative. I left everything behind in 2016. Story 153. The social media platforms I use are much more anonymous. I deleted Facebook over 10 years ago, and I won't engage with anything they are involved with. I deleted Twitter when Elon Musk began its decline. Snapchat is for messaging. Everything else I have is anonymous like this, and I consider Reddit more of a message board than social media, or they are for consumption only. Story 154. I had Facebook a long time ago. I get the impression that people think everyone actually believes their lives are as fantastic as they try to portray on Facebook. It was a bit disturbing. Story 155. Reddit, YouTube, and Twitter are the only social media apps I use. I never had anything important to post on Instagram or Facebook. Story 156. Instagram is great for shopping and travel recommendations. Most friends and relatives are there, providing a window into what they are doing. I have never used TikTok. It seems very popular, as does YouTube. I do not use Twitter. Story 157. I deleted Facebook about 13 or 14 years ago and do not miss it. I have never had Snapchat, TikTok, or Instagram. I joined Reddit in November as my son scrolls through it sometimes to pass the time, and it can be amusing. Story 158. I occasionally deactivate my Instagram. Facebook and Twitter are active because I need them for my businesses, but I do not scroll through them. I do not have YouTube on my phone. Reddit is for posting and talking to random users. Story 159. I have never had TikTok or Snapchat. I have a Facebook account that I probably look at once a year. I post a photo on Instagram a few times a year. I tend to check Reddit because there are a few communities that have discussions that interest me, but other than that, I don't care about social media. I feel like I have plenty of other things to do than to stare at people's posts. Story 160. I uninstalled the app from my phone. I can still access the websites if someone sends me a link or if I need to, but that little extra effort helps me stay away. Story 161. I am not on many platforms, but I used Facebook from 2007 to 2022 regularly, so I have a lot of data on it. Now I go through my memories of each day, deleting them, and eventually, I'll have a clean, almost empty Facebook. I wish I had never used it as much as I did. Story 162. I don't use any of the social media platforms that young people prefer these days. I have Facebook, but I barely use it. I also have LinkedIn, which is somewhat necessary in my field. That's about it. Story 163. For me, it's not deleted, but many of them have either been abandoned or deactivated. Life is much easier and happier without it. Story 164. I still have an Instagram account that I primarily use to follow a few chopper builders and tattoo artists, but I haven't posted my own content in years. I also have a Facebook account which I haven't posted on in over a decade. I keep it because it's the only way many of my extended family can contact me in case of a death or a funeral that I need to know about. Additionally, I use the marketplace occasionally to buy motorcycles or parts. I am considering deleting Facebook since my aunt and a few others have my phone number and can reach me if needed. Thanks a bunch for sticking around till the end of the video. Remember to subscribe, and until next time, stay awesome and goodbye.